Happy Thursday and welcome into the PHNX Sun Devils show. I am Anthony Totri, joined as always by Shane Dieffenbach.
Yeah, I am.
And Erik Ruby's here. Big Hat Man is with us. He is just behind the Mac making all of the magic happening, guys. Do us a solid. Hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button. Leave a 5-star review wherever you get your podcasts. So, quiet news day.
Yeah,
quiet news day
boring.
today. Nothing crazy going on. Honk shoeing.
Yep.
A lot of honk shoeing. No, guys, Graham Rossini officially promoted to athletic director at Arizona State, going from chief business officer to his new role. We were out at the press conference this morning. We heard from Rossini. We heard from Michael Crow.
Press conference,
yeah.
It was more just us standing at the Tillman statue.
We've got a lot of sound to get into, so definitely buckle up. Get yourself a snack. Get yourself a drink.
Snackies.
And get ready, because we got a lot to get into.
What's the most apt snack for this occasion?
Graham crackers.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's easy.
Perfect.
It's easy money. Shane, before we get into those opening statements, just what did you feel?
You want me to give my opening statement?
Your opening statement,
Yeah.
yes, absolutely. That is what I would like today.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the introduction to Graham Rossini. Obviously, people close to the athletic department, people that have worked with him at the Diamondbacks, at ASU for a while, speak highly of him.
Yeah.
And I saw why today. You know, he has a vision, but he truly cares about the university, and that's the biggest part of this. He is a Sun Devil, which we'll get to. He mentions it many times in the press conference through and through, and believes in not only this program, but the school and the success of it. Opening comments or my first thoughts about him are good.
Yeah, no, I think, again, for me, it was, I wasn't skeptical about Rossini himself.
No.
I think a lot of people, including myself, were more skeptical about the process of how we got to.
And we still are.
And rightfully so. I think so after the comments from Michael Crow. But what I will say is it's been 182 days in the making.
Yep.
To get to Ray Anderson, to Graham Rossini, everything that occurred in between. We'll obviously get into. Michael Crow said some stuff about it. Graham Rossini said some stuff about it. But I think it's one of those days where you can erase everything. You can wipe the slate clean as it relates to the athletic department right now. The investigation is behind us. The old regime of the football team is behind us. The old athletic director is behind us.
Yes.
And now it is officially time to start moving in the right direction. Now, how far in the right direction you go is, I think, you can be optimistic, but still a little skeptical just because you haven't seen it yet.
You're moving in a different direction. For sure. And, we will see how different it truly is.
Yeah.
Obviously, without Ray Anderson at the helm and somebody at the helm in general, things are going to get done in a different manner and probably a faster manner now.
As they should, based off of what we've seen in the past.
And my hope from this comes from, in the last month and a half, we've seen some unbelievable strides in ASU sports. We've seen some awesome recruits commit. We've seen some really great news in terms of arena stuff, and we've seen the culture continue to build. Players that left, but players that stayed spoke why they stayed.
Mm-hmm.
And that was all without an athletic director. So you hope that you can compound on that. You hope that, now the growth is exponential, and now that Rossini is in control of this athletic program, things can even better further.
Yeah, absolutely. Thursday, May 23rd, 2024 is a moment in Arizona State history. that will live on for the remainder of however long Graham Rossini is at the helm, however long Michael Crow is at the top of this university. And it is certainly something to keep your eyes on. But today is truly day one of a new Arizona State athletic department, and that should bring some level of excitement. And you talk about excitement. Graham Rossini was over the moon today.
Yeah.
And what was, for him, I can't imagine being in his position, but it's got to be one of the most surreal feelings to attend a university, to work at a university, to work in the Valley, to have met your wife here, to live here, and then now you're a top, an athletic department that has a blank slate, right?
Seems
go crazy with.
Awfully familiar. Seems like something we've heard before.
Yeah.
And that's been working out pretty well. Of course, I'm referring to Kenny Dillingham. Like, that's kind of the blueprint that this school has had. We saw a graphic that they put up on Pac-12 Network about that, and how, how many coaches came from ASU that are working for ASU, how many people in the athletic department came from ASU that are working for ASU. And that's a great blueprint to have, because you have that much more care, that much more want to get the success you strive for.
Yeah, and Graham Rossini's been a voice, I think, kind of behind the scenes, right? Where he may be making moves and have impacts within the athletic department itself, but he's not the face. You don't see him. Now he is, right? This isn't a guy that many people have really gotten the chance to hear from, to talk to, and now you have that opportunity as the voice of the athletic department. At some point, we look forward to getting Graham Rossini in studio and having him on the show live.
And
but
it sounds like it should be soon.
It sounds like it's definitely something that should happen sooner rather than later.
But you never know.
You never know. And in the meantime, this was Graham Rossini's opening statement on a crazy day in Arizona State history.
We have a lot of work to do and some tremendous opportunities in front of us. And what I'd like everybody to know is that I'm a Sun Devil, first and foremost. I feel like I've got credentials to lead us into what comes next, but out the gate, I'm a proud Sun Devil. That's always been a big part of my background and my DNA, and I can't wait to represent this entire community of Sun Devils who care so much about what we do here at Arizona State University. And thank you to Dr. Crow. Thank you to Dr. Jim Runn, who's been an unbelievable mentor and guidance over the last 6-7 months preparing for this. Thank you to the Arizona Board of Regents. I don't take this opportunity lightly. I'm excited to get to work. I'm excited for the challenges and more importantly, the opportunities that are in front of us. We have a group of passionate Sun Devils ready to take the charge on what comes next. And we have great momentum behind us. We have the full strength of this university. We're going to work to earn the full strength of this community behind us. And we can't wait to get to work. I do want to have a special thank you to 3 people who have been critically important in my ability to get to this point today. One is Pat Murphy, who I had the chance to spend 8 years with as a member of Sun Devil Baseball, currently leading the NL Central Milwaukee Brewers, a great Sun Devil as well. The next would be Derek Hall, who I had 13 years to really spend and learn from. Learning from a Sun Devil while in a different setting, but again, in this market, building relationships in this community, having relationships with the businesses that we're going to lean on and rely upon. A great Sun Devil, and then obviously for Ray, for the opportunity to come back home 3 years ago. And was able to learn a lot from Ray and Buffy and our time together. Wish them well in the next chapter and excited to build on the momentum that's in place. So I'm here for you all. I want to be responsive and answer questions. I know there are many. And excited to kind of get into the day and the work to come. So thanks for the coverage. You all are an important part of the conduit in getting our message out to this community of support and this passionate fan base. And so we know on short notice, everybody responded to be here today. It's an unbelievable setting here at Mountain America Stadium. This is the backdrop of a lot of our best moments when you think about how we use this setting to welcome our first-year students. The first experience they have as a Sun Devil is in this stadium. We want the football stadium and all the activities that take place to here be a big part of their backdrop and a big part of their pathway while they're here with us on campus. And then if we do it right, they're here to celebrate graduation at some point later. And so no appropriate or better setting, in my opinion, than to make this announcement and get into the work that comes next, the Mountain America Stadium.
There's obviously a lot to unpack there. I want to start, though, with the kind of almost addressing the media and saying that he wants to be responsive to the media. He wants to use us almost as a voice, which I think the last regime didn't necessarily do that at all.
Okay,
at all.
They didn't. They did the opposite for the most part.
Avoided.
They wanted to stay hidden, and when Ray Anderson was made available, it was an event.
Yeah.
That should not be this big event like Groundhog Day when he's coming out of the hole and there he is. Finally, we get to speak to Buckstwaney, whatever his name is. What's his name? Buckstani.
I think it's like Phil or something like that.
But whatever his name is.
Buckstawani Phil or
there we
something.
go.
I think.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But
yeah, no, it's a great thing because you want to have that and you need that. And it helps makes our jobs easier. So it's a little selfish. But still, it's what the fan base needs. They want clarity. They don't want smoke and mirrors like they've been getting for the last couple of years. They don't want somebody that's going to lie to them.
Yeah, and again, I don't want to get too deep into the weeds of journalism and like what it is, but it truly is an opportunity for this athletic department, a younger athletic department as it stands now, younger than before, to at least connect with the fan base. I don't know if he said it in the statement, but he said it at one point saying that he wants to be here for the fans, whether that be a football game day, a basketball game day, a baseball game day. Like from the moment you leave your garage and your driveway, it should be an experience. And I think a way to utilize us is to help it. Utilizing us will help that athletic department do that in a way.
Maybe we can get him to snake draft animals.
Maybe at some point.
Now that would be great.
Yeah.
And I also think like it goes to show with him, he's been at the forefront of like the NIL push as well, and making sure that he's kind of in that next era of college athletics and not falling behind and then adjusting. And I do think that media is a massive part of that, just to build your brand overall. And the more viewership, the more eyes that you get on ASU, the more fans, the more people you have involved, the more money you're also going to be able to get, which then in turn you can invest into your programs. And he, even before this, he was a very vocal part of the athletic department, going out to fundraising events and different ASU events and making his voice known. And now I feel like he's going to be more empowered to do that. And that's really important for him and for everything that he's going to be overseeing, like going forward.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, fundraising. I'm interested to see how that kind of translates from previous roles to this.
There's a collective now.
Yes.
2, people seem like they want to support this guy.
Yeah. I mean, again, whether it even be that's the one thing that I think we don't and people don't talk enough about, because Ray was such a polarizing figure that the moment that he left, people were immediately willing to support whoever it was going to be, as long as it wasn't Ray.
Yeah,
right. And that's not even
polarizing is the right word.
I mean, I'm being generous with my terms here. Yeah. But like that is it's the truth is people disliked Ray so much that the moment that he left or was forced out, whatever, they were like, I don't care who is in charge. And now you've got a guy that you can seemingly root for that is younger, can't connect to the coaches, can't connect to the fan base, and you have a fan base and an alumni base that's one of the biggest in the entire world. You unlock that, you unlock Arizona State athletics.
Yeah, and it's a great point on wanting to support the guy, but it really just starts with this fan base, getting past the last one and being able to look at, as you said, kind of just whoever, give me somebody else. And it should pay dividends, figuratively and literally. You really need fundraising to succeed in this era of college athletics, obviously. And I think you're going to see an influx of it, because not only are you getting a different guy, you're getting a guy that understands how important it is, and a younger guy. Yeah,
no, you're absolutely right. And again, it was the first time ASU media as a collective was able to talk with Graham Rossini, the new Arizona State athletic director. Also the first time in a while that Arizona State media got the chance to talk to Michael Crow out there. Some very, very interesting points throughout the questions that he was asked, but this is how Crow started the day.
So what we've been doing the last 6 months is reconstructing ASU sports, of which ASU athletics is a part, ASU sports around a new model, a model in which we're going to operate ASU sports, Sun Devil sports, like the rest of the university, highly entrepreneurial, centralized support, centralized facility support, centralized everything. And in that, Sun Devil athletics then, we were looking for and spending some time assessing the skill set of our internal staff, looking at external folks, but spending time focused on who could be the best executive to take Sun Devil athletics forward into the the world ahead. We wanted to get everything past us, the NCAA investigation, which is now complete relative to ASU, launch ourselves on new trajectories in football and other programs. That's underway. Advance ourselves with building a financial structure in which there is no debt to the university for athletics like exists at other institutions. There's no financial stresses that we're not going to be able to manage going forward. Expansion of NIL, which we put in place the last 6 months. All these things going on. And what we found was that the best executive to lead us was one that was with us, that has over 20 years of experience in sports administration, sports business, sports development, sports marketing, sports management, is a Sun Devil through and through himself, who's a very, very able executive capable of operating within the ASU system, which is high speed, highly entrepreneurial, highly driven by new ways of doing things, as you can see by the way that the rest of the university has advanced, and that's Graham Rossini. We're excited to announce his appointment as Director of Sun Devil Athletics.
Yeah, the biggest takeaway for me there is Crow uttered the 3 letters that everyone needed to hear, NIL. They have made, progress in expanding their NIL department, but yeah, it's kind of what you expected.
Mm-hmm.
Was there anything there that jumped out to you really?
I mean, I think for me, the only thing that I ever take really from opening statements is things that are unique to the individuals themselves. And Crow kind of putting an emphasis on the fact that Rossini is a Sun Devil, that Rossini is somebody that has 2 degrees from Arizona State. He worked at Arizona State, He's in the Valley. He's been at the Valley. Like, that is something that, again, is unique to Graham Rossini versus other potential candidates we'll get into later. But there's, again, part of the opening statements, whether that be Crow, whether that be Rossini, is quite literally just going out there and, not necessarily being a mouthpiece, but just saying, just tossing it up. Right, just being like, he does X, Y, and Z, and here's Graham Rossini.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you can't take too much away from what Michael Crow said there, but there definitely were some questions throughout the availability that we'll get to here in a second that are certainly something to keep in mind as we move throughout, specifically as it relates to the structure of athletics and how Arizona State is going to try and change that.
Yeah, I did like the immediate attempt to clarify, and it was some clarification. It might not be reasonable to wait this long for it all, but you do understand from the school's point of view a little bit more why they waited, and I like that he opened up with that. This is why it took 6 months, the NCAA investigation, furthering NIL, rebuilding the Department of Athletics in regards to finances, which we'll talk about later in the show. I liked that he addressed that first, and I like that he understands that the school, he's not so out of touch that he never heard people saying, why is this taking so long, which wouldn't surprise me all that much. And that's not an indictment on Crow. That's just, a guy in his position is so, I'm going to do my thing. I'm going to do it my way, and I'm not going to listen to anything outside. It's good that he had the foresight to recognize the disgruntled nature of the fan base for why it took so long.
Yeah.
And to address that. So that is a good thing. And no, Clint, Big Daddy Yormark was not there.
I think there's a lot of people, and again, rightfully so, that don't have a whole lot of trust with this athletic department as it stands in the past, and with Michael Crow himself, because it has felt like Michael Crow hasn't cared. He hasn't cared enough about athletics in what they can provide for the fan base, for the university moving forward. So I think that's where that lack of trust maybe stems from. But for ASU fans looking to find some trust, I'll tell you what, Desert Financial, the official retail banking partner of Arizona State University, they are definitely who you can trust. For more than 84 years, Desert Financial has been Arizona's largest most trusted local credit union dedicated to creating exceptional experiences by giving back to the community and providing financial solutions that make lives better. The Desert Financial team, they're financial experts who are committed to their members and the community, offering financial solutions tailored to helping real people achieve their financial goals and dreams. Real people like Erik Ruby, who's been using Desert Financial since he was just a wee lad.
I'm
guys.
not real, but Desert Financial is.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Now is the time to show your ASU team spirit. Now more than ever, open a free checking account online and get $200 plus your choice of 3 Arizona State University Visa debit cards. Go to desertfinancial.com/ASU to get started.
Yeah, we talked about finances. My finances on the BetMGM app are dwindling.
Yes.
But luckily I can spin a wheel daily.
Spin a wheel.
And, oh, B.
Spin a wheel.
And can further my finances. That was a weird noise you just made.
Yeah.
Never heard that before.
Yeah, never.
And you can also get some money with the MLB Grand Slam jackpot that we've talked about. All you got to do is download the BetMGM Sportsbook app and use that bonus code PHNX and place your first BetMGM Sportsbook wager through the BetMGM Sportsbook mobile app for at least $10, and you will receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets if the bet loses. We got Eastern Conference Final Game 2 tonight. Great Western Conference Final Game 1
Celtics
last
and
night.
the Paces.
A lot to bet on right now.
Who are you going with today?
Western Conference Final Game 1 in the NHL tonight as well. So who am I going with in what?
B-ball.
The game tonight?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Probably Celtics, right?
I don't bet on the series. I'm just too scared of it.
Really?
The only thing I bet on is the
Series?
Pacers plus 2.5 series spread.
Oh, that feels nice.
Yeah.
Especially after game 1. I mean, it would have felt real nice if they would have, just fouled. Were you team foul?
I'm always team foul, but in a situation like that, it was hard because there was so much. Like it was
A lot of time left.
That I don't really blame them, but normally I'm team foul. I'm also team BetMGM, and you can check out the show notes for full details. And now you can listen to me talk about the disclaimer. Bonus bets expire in 7 days. One new customer offer only. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY 467-369 New York. Call 1-800-327-5050 Massachusetts. 21 plus only. Please gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP Arizona. 1-800-BETS-OFF Iowa. 1-800-981-0023 Puerto Rico. First bet offer for new customers only. Subject to eligibility requirements. Bonus bets are non-withdrawable. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. See BetMGM.com for terms. U.S. promotional offers not available in New York, Nevada, North Carolina, Ontario, or Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico.
Is that where Michael Crow was?
No, he was in Israel.
Came back from a vacation.
Yeah, I love that. He immediately started before he even got any questions. He's like, looks directly at the Palestinian man and myself and was like, I just got back from Israel. So totally unintentional on his part, but it is what it is, I guess, at this point. Look, a lot more to get into as it relates to the first media availability for Michael Crow in a long time, and the very first one for Graham Rossini since being named or appointed the Arizona State Athletic Director. Guys, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. And if you're listening on audio and you haven't done it yet, go ahead, drop a 5-star review. Let us know what you like about this podcast. We appreciate you guys. Clint, the chat with new AD riding the ship. I hope ASU performs in the upper third of the Big 12 year in and year out. Clint,
It'd be nice.
we hope the Beavs perform in
Today?
No, not today. No, but just in their conference. What, are they in the Mountain West now, or is it the Pac-12?
They're still in the Pac-12.
Is that what it's called now? Is
It's got to be the Pac-2.
Is it still just Washington State and Oregon State?
Yeah.
Just
Yep.
playing all. That's so pathetic. Sorry, Clint.
Hey.
Sorry. I mean, it is. Tell me I'm wrong.
Conference of Champions.
Yep. Conference of Champion.
Just a single champion. Look, one thing I do want to get to before we kind of get into the finances and NIL and all that stuff is, for me and for a while now, the most important aspect of a new athletic director for Arizona State was basketball. Was how are you going to write the program? How are you going to deal with DFA and where it's at right now? Had the luxury of getting a chance to one-on-one pretty much with Graham Rossini.
Yeah.
And from the sounds of it, DFA could be getting some renovations.
We're looking at it. We understand. I'm 6'5", right? So I sit in the seat backs in Desert Financial Arena, and it's not a great way to sit and watch a game. We're looking at all kind of improvements that we can make in that facility. Initially, a lot of it's going to come from the touch points. How do we improve parking? How do we improve the entertainment in the arena? How do we improve how you navigate the concourses as a fan? What can we elevate with food and beverage? And then we'll start looking at the physical space as well. I think there's great bones in there. There's a lot of history in that arena that we want to bring those attributes back out and celebrate the success and history. Sun Sun Devil basketball, volleyball, wrestling, gymnastics. There's been some great concerts in there over the years. There's been some unbelievable graduations. And so we need to bring the personality back out of the building. We're obviously going to look at the physical space and make sure that we're mindful of improvements that are responsible and relevant to make.
So
not a new arena.
No new arena. It looks like DFA is not going anywhere, guys, as we've kind of been reporting. But it is a good thing that, when you asked that question, his eyes did kind of light up. He's like, yes, we do have plans, and I'm excited to share them, and I'm excited to get to them. And they don't sound like they're going to be very exciting for the first couple of renovations, because a lot of it's going to be, as he said, the touch points. But they do plan to look at the physical space in the future. That could be 20 years. That could be tomorrow. You just don't know. So encouraging, at least.
Yeah. Big hat.
It's something. It's something. They're gonna look at it. They're gonna make it better, even if it's touch points, even if it's the food. It is such a sore spot when it comes to a lot of fans, and even when it comes to some people who are involved in the athletic department, and to be like, oh, it's fine. But that would have been worst case scenario. But it actually was laid out like a plan. Hey, even if it's not exactly what you want, right? Everybody wants a brand shiny new arena, like mullet but bigger. But if anything, just take what you can get at this point. And if you're going to get something that's better, that's good. I'll take that.
Chairs with cup holders coming soon. That's crazy.
Huge.
I think
crazy.
again, the touch points is where you start with this, like he said. I think, again, there does need to be a serious discussion about the physical space, whether that be a new arena, which, again, it doesn't sound like that is where Arizona State basketball is headed anytime soon.
No.
But still taking a look at what you can do to improve the space so that it doesn't become the dinosaur of the Big 12, I think is super, super important, especially in this conference. And I would be saying the same thing if football was playing in the Big 10 or the SEC, that, Sun Devil Stadium or Mountain America Stadium is what it is.
That's what they called Brandon Whedon?
What?
The dinosaur of the Big 12. Get a job, Brandon Whedon.
Tough. That's tough, man. That's tough. No, in all seriousness, again, I think he answered that the best way that he could, given the circumstances.
There are no plans immediately, but they do plan to look at it. And that's all you can really ask for, because as we've said for a while, that arena is not going anywhere. They're not bulldozing it. It's here to stay.
Yeah.
And I do like the charm of it. I enjoy covering games there. I'm not a fan, so I don't have to sit in those seats, but I have before. Bottom line is, you just need to make sure everything's working properly and the facilities are working, and the water isn't turning off, and that stuff.
People aren't hitting their head on pipes.
Yeah. So, and I think they will address a lot of that. But again, a lot of that change could come sooner if ASU basketball starts winning more games.
And you know how you win more games? You get better players. And you know how you get better players? NIL.
Yep, you pay them.
You do.
Here you go.
Here you go.
go.
And it sounds like Graham Rossini is 100% NIL oriented, focused, in terms of this is a serious way to get Arizona State back on the map in terms of athletics. Now, he did state that, it wasn't going to be the main pitch to some of these athletes, because that's not what you want your university to be, of just pay to play.
Yeah.
But it does need to be an impactful part of the athletic department. And Graham Rossini, he said it, is 100% on board with NIL.
Yeah, absolutely. We are 100% committed to NIL. And as Dr. Crow mentioned, over the last 6-7 months, really reinvesting our focus in there. We're lucky. Tim Hovick is here, Santan Ford, Mountain America Credit Union, Desert Financial Credit Union, Sprouts, Adidas, and others that have stepped up on behalf of NIL. And we're lucky the Sun Angel Collective has taken ownership and really a leading voice in building NIL support across our fan base. That's an enormous partnership for us now more than ever, and we're locked arms with the leadership of the Sun Angel Collective. Encourage anybody watching and listening to join as a member of the Sun Angel Collective, and we're going to do this at scale, utilizing a membership model with the Sun Angel Collective. We're going to bring our corporate partners into the conversation as well, and we've got great momentum. And when you look at what Coach Dillingham and Coach Hurley have been able to accomplish recently, it's not by coincidence. These are elite coaches. These are skilled recruiters. They've got great networks in their respective sports, and they're showing that all things equal, and when we're reasonable and we're competitive in NIL, high-level recruits want to be Sun Devils, and that's a really important part of our journey. And so, we're looking at all aspects of how do we enrich that student-athlete journey. We don't need to lead with NIL. We want to be very focused on that. But again, we're selling education, we're selling quality of life, we're selling an unbelievable network. Coach Dillingham talked about it, a year and a half ago in his press conference of Sun Devils for life. That means something. That's a true mission for this department, that we're connecting to all generations of Sun Devils. And as recruits come to this space, invest in your time here, invest in the relationships, build a connection, because it's going to last long beyond their time competing as athletes. It's build a network. And that's the beauty of NIL, in my opinion, is we have an unbelievable metropolitan area. We have emerging economies all around us. We have incredible corporate support, just being a large city and a large, dynamic, fascinating university. We want to plug those entities and companies into NIL. A lot of our student athletes spend their entire life playing the game, their entire life with a chance to earn a scholarship and go represent a university at a high level. And that comes at a price for them. They're making a sacrifice. They're compromising their ability to have a high school part-time job or a college internship or do a work study or build professional development. And so when they graduate, they're relying on their degree and they're relying on their athletic intangibles to go propel them in the real world. It's a competitive job market out there, and we want to use NIL as a tool for professional development for our student athletes. And so they're building vocational training, they're building professional skill sets, they're building a networking connection. So when they graduate, they're able to use that full weight of this experience. Elite education, unbelievable competitive setting, and a chance to be an accountable teammate, a great communicator, et cetera, and then have this NIL background as part of their journey, so they're prepared to take on the real world. We hope they play professionally. We hope they have Olympic aspirations. We hope they get all those opportunities, but Mother Nature is undefeated, and we recognize that. And so preparing them for life after playing is an enormous focus of ours.
I think the part that stuck out the most to me is just talking about the partnerships in the future of the partnerships, that is going to be something that Graham Rossini and this athletic department try and pursue even more than maybe the past regime, right? You look back at Mountain America, and now it's Mountain America Stadium, right? And the financial side that was given in part to the athletic department was a ridiculous amount of money, which helps with the renovations. It helps keep programs alive, because some of these, Graham Rossini, he was at the forefront of the entire thing. So being able to utilize those corporate partnerships that you've seen in NIL, not just with naming deals, right? You look across the nation in corporate sponsors that have had alumni, right, that start or are at the face of major companies, donate, whether that be straight to the athletic department, whether that be to an NIL collective. Utilizing the corporate sponsorships, I think, is going to be huge for ASU.
Look, we've long said, you said it at the top of the show, there is no reason why ASU shouldn't be near the top of NIL.
Yeah.
They have so many resources, an innumerable amount of resources, because of where the school is, who went to the school, and the supporters they have around it. And they just need to do the baseline. They just need to do the thing that's right in front of them. And it seems like Rossini's going to focus on the thing that's right in front of them.
Yeah.
And that's a very good sign if you're an ASU fan, because so long have fans just said, just do the thing everybody else is doing. Stop trying to innovate. And the innovation is good in some parts, and all jokes aside about it. But sometimes you just got to do what everybody else is doing, because that's the landscape of what's working. And I hope that Rossini's allowed to do that, bottom line. Yeah.
Allowed is a big piece of that puzzle that we'll see if Arizona State is, and Michael Crow is going to allow that to happen. But again, there's no reason that Arizona State, in terms of NIL, shouldn't be leading the charge, because you look at the alumni base and it is over 33,000 students every single year graduate from this university. Whether that be a dollar, whether that be $2, right? And that's just per year. That doesn't even begin to touch the figures of over the last decade, over the last 20 years, if everybody donated $1 or $2, what that would mean toward athletics. Like, the figures would be incredible, and Arizona State could lead that charge. And I get it. Not everybody, especially in the past, wants to donate to an athletic department that you feel is not necessarily doing the most to try and win championships, to try and be the best at football, the best at basketball, the best at baseball. But now you have that, right? Because now you can look individually at Willie Bloomquist pretty much begging for NIL for baseball.
Begging.
You can look to Bobby Hurley going out on his own, doing Netflix series, specials, whatever, to try and get money for NIL. You can look to Kenny Dillingham, who has done the same exact thing.
Yep.
And those are just the three major sports. Greg Powers does it. Like, now you have the man, their boss, that is going out there and saying, you know what? Yeah, this is important. This is what we want to do. We want to be at the forefront of it. Not, well, we don't necessarily believe that this is what we want to do.
And I think that Graham said it really well too. Like, what this, and I mentioned at the top of the show, what these two programs, ASU basketball and football, have been able to do without, you know, the support of the NIL that everybody else has is ridiculous. And to even the playing field, I mean, that should make a hell of a lot of a difference. That just thinking about how many more recruits they can get when the playing field is even, is really exciting, because as we've said in the past, the lack of resources shouldn't attribute to this much success in recruiting in the transfer portal. Yet Bobby and Kenny have been able to achieve it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And look, NIL is obviously a big part of the equation here, but Michael Crow alluded to it. Part of it was they wanted to change the way the university and the athletic department work together. And I think now more than ever, they are going to work in unison. I can't necessarily describe it the same way that Crow did. So this is what Michael Crow had to say in terms of the restructuring of finances for the athletic department.
Yeah, a lot of athletic programs around the country, they borrow money from their universities and then they carry debt with their universities. And so we've eliminated all of that. We have built a structure now for finances which can weather any hurricane going forward, any tumult that we might encounter. We found ways. We built the Athletic Facilities District as a legal entity which generates the revenue to build things like this stadium. We've created all types of other financial structures that are going to allow ASU athletics to be able to advance. We came through the pandemic with no debt. We came through the pandemic with no layoffs in the university, no reductions in salary, no furloughs. So we've built a financial structure, and what's happened in the past was that athletics was considered a separate thing called an auxiliary enterprise. It's not an auxiliary enterprise now. It's in the core of the enterprise of ASU itself. And so we've changed the financial model that's going to allow us to have our athletic department focus on victory and success of our student athletes academically and athletically. And the rest of the enterprise is going to worry about the bigger financial issues.
So how does that impact decisions on spending, revenue generation, et cetera?
There's going to be revenue generation is still a responsibility of every unit within the institution, including athletics. So every unit, every director, every dean, everyone has to generate money, raise funds, build partnerships, find philanthropists that are willing to invest, generate revenue through participation, every unit. And so what it means then, therefore, though, is that we're going to have an opportunity for the athletic department to not be burdened by trying to carry the totality of all of its fixed costs. The rest of the university didn't have fixed costs that they had to worry about, but the athletics department did. We've eliminated that, restructured that in its entirety. So Graham, wherever he went, where'd he go? Graham and his team will focus on filling the stadiums, finding the best coaches, the best athletes, winning the games, producing great student athlete graduates, raising money, building NIL funding, building corporate sponsorships, raising philanthropy, but they won't have to worry about the core things that have drugged so many athletic departments down.
I mean, that's the number one takeaway. That's the number one takeaway from the entire day, outside of Graham Rossini being named athletic director, is when now again, I don't know the ins and outs to say that it was a process that needed to take 182 days, 6 months, whatever the exact time frame was. Mm-hmm. But I will say that the idea...
At least things happened.
Again, this makes it sound that Michael Crow is actually moving forward with athletics in mind.
Makes it sound. But yes, for sure. Like this, if you know, we see actual change after the fact, and it's good, and there is change coming for sure. How much is that going to impact, you know, the front of athletics is to be seen, but it's good that there was something happening in those 6 months.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I think one thing that hasn't necessarily been outlined, but from my understanding, part of the process of what this athletic department wants to do is transition athletic scholarships to academic scholarships, so that would be on the university as opposed to the actual athletic department, which then again, you're looking at, let's say 60% of Arizona State athletes are able to switch from, they're eligible for academic scholarships, right? So you would take the money that the athletic department was giving to these students to allow them to go here for free. Now the university would have to pay for it. And now the athletic department has those funds that, again, you can use for renovations. You could potentially turn into NIL, into small businesses, into, I mean, name it. And it's a possibility now with that money. Now, again, how they're going to be able to do that when that starts to take place is interesting. But it's kind of ironic that that's the model. And guess what? We had Kenny was literally out there today because they were cheering in the cafeteria about this is the highest GPA average that they've had in God knows how long. So it's huge, and they're playing the long game, right? And I know that's frustrating as an Arizona State fan right now in 2024, but the hope is that this isn't a quick fix to a bigger problem. Yeah, that it's something that takes time.
Yeah, this landscape is obviously always changing, but it's changing even faster now with the class action lawsuits and the fact that players are going to be able to get paid directly from the university, and that's why they're switching to this model. I mean, there's so many different things going on in the world of the NCAA and you know, NIL and all of these lawsuits that are way over my head. But they are adapting and changing with it, and it's better with it than after it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
So this seems like a step in the right direction. And again, this is one of the few things that could have been said by Crow to really make fans be like, okay, that's a little bit more excusable. I still think that the fact that they did an interview outside is a little ridiculous. It is ridiculous, but the fact that they weren't just, you know, sucking their thumbs for 6 months is a good sign.
No, you're right. They were doing a lot in those 6 months, but one thing that they weren't doing, interviewing external candidates. This is my favorite soundbite of the entire day, by the way.
How many candidates did you interview formally? You said you kind of considered all and people reached out, but how many did you actually interview?
0.
0. How does that make you feel, Shane? Especially knowing, because we were there and we didn't show the soundbite, but of him prior to that saying that they had, I mean, there were endless candidates that were presenting themselves to ASU.
Look, we knew this, so it's nothing new. We knew they didn't do a crazy search. I remember, like, at the start of this, we thought they were going to use an agency. We thought they were going to do a
traditional
search with many candidates that were going to come in and interview for the job. But I guess people were just throwing themselves at ASU saying, please let me be the athletic director. And they said, we're not going to interview anybody. I don't know, man. I think that Crow had a clear idea of what he wanted to do. And there was not really a reason to interview anybody because this was the end goal anyway. So that doesn't surprise me whatsoever.
It's just laughable. And his response to it was funny.
Yeah, I know it is funny. 0.
And then nothing else. Nothing followed by it. It was just like, let's move on. Let's move on. And look, again,
there was no follow-up. That was it.
No. And again, part of it is, like you said, he knew what he wanted and he went out there and he got it. And one thing that I want to take advantage of the deals they have over at Circle K. Mm-hmm. Great deal today. It's what, like 40 cents off
40
gas?
Cents off, I think, between 3 and 5 p.m.
Oh, I'm definitely filling up today. I need to do that. Also, guys, if you didn't know, Circle K is America's thirst shop. Okay, they've got a new free membership program, Inner Circle, not Inner Square, not Inner Triangle. It's Inner Circle. That's going to help you save 25 cents per gallon on your first 5 fill-ups.
Dodecahedron? What is it called? Dodecahedron.
Sure. Save 3 cents per gallon every day after that. So literally, you are an Inner Circle member. You are saving money every single day. And enjoy.
Dodecahedron.
It's a decahedron?
Dodecahedron.
Dodecahedron. Enjoy your member-exclusive beverage deal. Inner Circle, guys, you can get any size Polar Pop or Froster for just 79 cents now through September 3rd at any Arizona location. And they got Circle K's everywhere. Find it in the app under Inner Circle and offers. Join Inner Circle for free by downloading that Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details.
Yeah, if you drive like 10 miles and you don't see a Circle K, you're probably like not in,
Something's wrong.
You're in a different dimension.
Yeah.
Or you've been off-roading.
Ooh.
What?
I just like the idea of different dimensions, of like different Shanes existing. I don't know why, but yours immediately has purple hair.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. If my girlfriend would let me, I would.
Really?
I've teased lavender hair to her, and she was not a fan because then she's like, "You're gonna have to bleach it again. It's gonna ruin your hair." Also, I wouldn't like that.
Well, I've got quite the purple hat for you if you want to compensate.
Wouldn't I look good with purple hair?
think
All my
so.
characters in video games have purple hair.
What about just a purple stripe?
No,
No?
that'd be awful.
You think?
Yeah, I feel like every time you take OGs, you're just like, "Ooh, alternate Shane."
Dude, I'll tell you
New
what.
Shane just
I
dropped.
will tell you what. One thing that OGs does for me
Mhm.
is I will take an OGs and I'll be perfect. There are times where I'm like, you know what? Let's get a little feisty. Let's take 2 OGs.
Okay.
And immediately I unlock a part of my brain that is locked during the day
And
on purpose.
and should be should be locked, and it's fun to let it out and play a little bit.
Yeah, it's scary though sometimes. I'm like, ooh, different dimensions, humanity. That's the type
Yeah.
of stuff that I think about
Yeah,
sometimes.
OGs
with
are the best scratch made THC gummies in the world, and specifically in Arizona, because you can get them here. They got so many great flavors. It tastes like candy, makes it feel like candy. It's fantastic. It tastes like freshly squeezed juice, so that's because you use freshly squeezed juicing processes to create their cannabis gummies. To learn more about OG's gummies and where you can find them, head over to ogsbrands.com. You got to be 21 years or older to enjoy responsibly.
You know who loves OGs?
Who? Don't say anything dumb.
Obi. Obi loves them. Dallas in the chat, Waymo partnership incoming. Would love that. Would love that for Arizona State.
Yeah, they commented on his tweet the other day.
They did. Look,
That is
guys,
so funny, dude.
we, again, Thursday, May 23rd, 2024, a historic day in Arizona State athletics.
Because ASU is going to get eliminated from the Pac-12 tournament.
We've talked a lot.
They got 3 more outs.
We talked a lot about what Michael Crow had to say. We've talked a lot about what Graham Rossini had to say. But who is Graham Rossini, Shane?
Who is he?
Well, this is Graham Rossini.
It means everything. I'm a proud Sun Devil, and that's what I want to lead with in this, is that I am a Sun Devil, I am a fan first, and now I get an inside seat at making some adjustments and leading a team that's going to go obsessive over our fans. It's not about being an athletic director. It's not about the title. It's not about the position. It's about impacting something that I've directly benefited from. And if I'm an example for a young person that enters ASU to understand what's capable or what's possible through this experience, I want to use that example. And I want our incoming students this fall to understand that if you invest in your time on campus and you're open to your education and you invest in relationships while you're here, the sky's the limit in terms of whatever your professional aspirations would be. And the beauty of ASU, in my opinion, is that we touch everything. We have impact in all areas of the world. So whatever your interests are, ASU is going to be a conduit to that. And so I just want to lead by example. I want my pathway to be something that motivates a young person in the Southeast or the Northwest or wherever they may be to say, let me learn a little bit more about that place.
Yeah, I mean, it's what we talked about at the top of the show. He's more than just a employee of ASU. He is a Sun Devil, and he knows what it means to be a Sun Devil, and he knows how much the fans care about it, which is him. He's a fan first, he said. That's the type of person you want in control of your athletics department, a person who cares deeply, who cares passionately about furthering these programs and making them more successful, because he knows how much it means to not only the players, but the fans and the school.
Yeah, I mean, well said. I have nothing else to add to that. That was beautifully said. I mean, it's
What
true.
What a great co-host I have sometimes.
No, but seriously, that's it. Like, he's a Sun Devil, and that's really all that you need to know, right? Is you can go out, you can go get somebody that has athletic director experience. That's fine. You can go out there, get somebody that, you know, has made millions and millions of dollars. You can go look for executives. You could do whatever you want, but at the end of the day, they don't get it. Right,
Yeah,
because it's Arizona State, and it's different. If you went here, like Graham Rossini was on Arizona State's campus as a student.
Yeah.
Kenny Dillingham was on Arizona State's campus as a student. That is different.
Yeah.
That is just, you can't recreate that experience.
I'll add to that a little bit. you can go out and get these guys that have a ton of experience being an athletic director. You can go get Dr. Moneybags and have a guy that knows how to make your school money and help your NIL. But the most important thing is, does Dr. Moneybags care about the school personally? Is he passionate about what he's doing? And if he's not, that's the most important fact.
Yeah.
That's Graham Rossini, and he has experience, being an executive in athletics. Doesn't have experience as an athletic director, but it's something that can be taught.
Yeah.
You can't teach passion.
Yeah. And look at it. What do you see in sports? Just because somebody doesn't have experience starting right away doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be bad, right? You see people all the time.
Geno Smith.
Yeah, sure. But
Rossini
you
is
look
Geno
to,
Smith.
I use the NFL draft right now because I don't have a better alternative right off the top of my head.
Talking ball.
But you see people drafted in the 5th through 7th round that they're not expected to go out there and be stars. Yet every year there's somebody in the 5th, 6th, or 7th round that is a hidden gem, right? Who's to say Graham Rossini can't be Arizona State's hidden gem, right? So we'll leave you with that. Guys, again, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. If you enjoyed the content, which I hope you did, give us a follow at PHNX _Sun Devils. You can follow me at Anthony _Totri. You can follow the man with the big hat behind the Mac at Erik Ruby. That is Erik with a K. You can follow this guy right here, the big legs, the New Balances, at Shane Dief.
Being cautiously optimistic as always.
And we will see you guys Friday for a Flavor and Friday. But in the meantime, go Devils and peace.
We all silly like the mayor.